Hello, film fans. Welcome to All the Film Things. I'm your host, Elizabeth. Thank you for listening. If you're enjoying this podcast, please leave a review and a rating. Also follow All the Film Things on Instagram for updates and more film things. For today's episode, we will be talking about one of my favorite films, and I think it's safe to say, one of the greatest films ever made. This film is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, more specifically in November, and I thought, why not discuss this masterpiece for the 50th wide-released episode of All the Film Things? Today, we are talking about Miloš Forman's 1975 psychological comedy drama, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, starring Jack Nicholson and Louise Fletcher. Joining me are my friends, filmmaker Emma Catharine and filmmaker Franklin Ritch. Emma, Franklin, thank you both so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Hang on.
Thank you so much.
This is so exciting.
I'm so excited for
I
this.
haven't done a podcast since 2017.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, you were early then.
Yeah, my best friend Lauren and I, with one of our other friends in college, created a podcast that was called the Ill-Conceived Podcast.
Oh, I love that title.
There's a couple episodes floating around somewhere on podcasts, but basically we were doing stuff that was not simply conducive to an audio format.
Oh,
so we were doing stuff with a visual element that you were not getting in an audio format. So that was the whole point of the podcast. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we made 6 whole episodes, and then our schedules got crazy because it was college and finals week.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
We all know each other from Film Bar, but you two go way back. You said 12 years you've known each other?
Yeah.
2013.
Both grew up in Orange Park, and I remember going to, when I was like in high school, going to the Orange Park Community Theater and doing a couple shows there, and there was this little child running around backstage.
That was me.
And just always was game to participate and help out on literally everything. And then ever since, like, Emma's just been a force to be reckoned with in this community, and has always been really, really awesome. So
Yeah. He's not wrong. I was on productions with adult language and content as a 14-year-old running around as assistant stage manager backstage. He's not wrong about the fact that I was a literal child running around backstage with a bunch of these adults. So,
well, I'm going to say everyone should check out Emma starring as the lead of Franklin's short film New Wings, a Batgirl fan film on the Last Resort Ideas YouTube channel.
God, we released that in 2018.
Yeah. No, I remember because Emma had done a lot of great work behind the scenes up until that point. And I knew that she could act. I just hadn't seen really much of her work as an actor. And then I put out this call for someone to play the role of Barbara Gordon in this fan film about Batgirl. And Emma was away, and she had sent like a video audition. I remember getting it.
In college.
I remember getting the email or whatever and being like, "Oh, cute! Emma sent in an audition. Oh, that's sweet. You know what? I'll give it a watch. That's sweet of her to throw her hat in the ring, whatever."
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it, I think with a few other people, Britt McTammany and some others, and we were just immediately like, "Well, shit, that's insanely good." And not only did like Emma give a great performance, but she also has like these hilarious, amazing parallels to Barbara Gordon as a character. Your interests and expertise and martial arts and all this other stuff, and you even made the costume, which is like,
Oh my gosh.
One of his favorite things to brag about.
90% of the reason people watch the short film anyways is because of that. So
I would not say that. Your writing was excellent. I always compliment your writing because good writing is hard to do.
Yeah.
And it was very dialogue heavy, and I mean, you can't do much with such a budget for like a Batgirl superhero movie.
Sure.
And you made a great short film through dialogue, and her performance was excellent. And
your chemistry with Anthony Paderewski playing Bruce Wayne was amazing, and you really understood the sort of philosophy and the ethics sort of behind Barbara Gordon, which was what made, I think, that scene so effective.
I appreciate that, but I also have to agree with Elizabeth. I mean, the reason I auditioned for it was because I knew that you were writing and directing it, and I'd seen some of your short films and stuff like that, and I knew how phenomenal of a writer you were.
Yep.
So
Take it in,
Cringing
Franklin.
so hard.
I can't sit here and throw all of that stuff at me without me throwing a bunch of those compliments back. But genuinely, even like the side that he wrote up for the audition for Barbara Gordon was just so fun and so smart.
What was it about? I remember being really proud of it.
It was the automatic grip.
Oh yeah, it was Barbara Gordon was like confronting Bruce about how the physics of the
one of his like automatic like weapons or not weapons, but,
the
like,
grappling hook.
Yes, the grappling hook.
She's confronted. Yeah, the side that the people auditioned for the role with was Barbara Gordon confronting Bruce Wayne about how the physics of the grappling hook don't make sense.
Work. There's no sense. Like, it's not physically possible in this world and stuff like that. And it was just such a great side, and it was so smart. And actually, someone had approached me for another short film at the time, and I read through those sides. And it's just like, it was night and day, the comparison between the two. And so I think that was, I mean, you and I had been friends at that point for a while, and I got something in my head of like, I wanted that role more than just anything.
You got it.
It's yours.
You got it.
Here we are.
It's doing well on YouTube, so yes, go watch it.
And I haven't seen that forever.
Holds up well.
It does.
Yeah.
I watch it
Every afternoon. No,
like all your parents.
You wake up, your morning routine is you watch all of your films.
Exactly. Yeah, that's my morning routine.
It takes 7 hours.
No, I showed it to some people recently, and it's one of the few that I'm like okay with watching with people. Normally I get like really insecure about it, but I'm really proud of that one. I'm really, really happy to share it with people. And it's a great crowd pleaser too. Like it's just a really fun one to watch.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud of it. All right. We got to talk about this movie.
Yes.
Let's talk about the film.
Well, first of all, this is your second time on the show, Franklin.
Yes.
It's our first episode being, I'm so happy to have you back. The first episode being an interview with you. So everyone go check that out to learn more about Franklin and his work. Also, The Artifice Girl. Want to mention that one. And Emma, this is your first time on the show.
Thanks.
I'm so thrilled to have you both on, and I've been really looking forward to discussing this masterpiece. So this has been a few months in the making, but I'm so happy the day has finally come.
When you pitched this episode, you were like, it'll be you versus Franklin. I was like, we've got to do it. Absolutely. Sign me up. I don't know when it's going to be, where it's going to be. Put me down. Let's do it.
We were just in the car, and I casually mentioned it. And you said you didn't see it, but Franklin always recommends you films.
Yeah.
So
I have a list. It's like 20 films long of films I have not seen that Franklin insists I must see.
I would love to start by everyone sharing their recollections of first watching the film. And I want to end with you, Emma, because you just watched the film for the first time ahead of this episode.
About 24 hours ago.
24 hours ago, that's right. But Franklin, I know you too hold this film in very high regard, so I'm very curious your first time watching.
I remember watching it in high school, and it absolutely blew my mind. I can't remember if it was part of a film studies class that I was taking or not, but I do remember getting the DVD back when Netflix mailed you DVDs. Mm-hmm. It was in the little paper envelope. And watching that film, it just absolutely blew me away. Right at the time, I was also getting really into films of that era. One of my favorite films at the time was Harold and Maude, and this film definitely kind of had a lot of similarities to that and The Graduate. And so I remember just being blown away, and I don't remember being so disturbed when I first saw it, but as an adult, and I think becoming a little more wise and a little more like sensitive to stuff, I fully appreciate now as an adult just how disturbing and how big of a risk this film really is. I also read the book after I watched the film, and I think it's an interesting thing to compare to. But for me personally, I think the film is top notch. Like you said, it's one of the greats. The performances are incredible. Nicholson and Fletcher, or is it Fletcher?
Louise Fletcher, yeah.
Louise Fletcher, just absolutely incredible. So I'm so excited to talk about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I first watched the film. I'm such a Nicholson fan. So for years, people would tell me, oh, you would love One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. You would love it. But it's a hard film to find. It's not often available on streaming. It's not available on TV often. But I found it one day on yes, everyone's going to judge me, a free with ad site. And I was like, well, I've been waiting years for this.
I would never judge you for that.
Thank you. Well, so I saw it and I was like, okay, well, I've been waiting for this moment. I'm just going to watch it. And I was blown away. I was stunned. This is one of Nicholson's best, easily one of his best. And he has plenty of great films. But wow, this was a startling film. This was very impactful. And I've seen it now 4 times. I watched it twice ahead of this episode, but I try not to watch it so often because it's a film that, I don't know, whenever it's been a while since I've seen it, I forget how great of a film it is because there's this elevation later where it turns from a drama to a tragedy, and later in the third act, right around the climax. So it's something you don't want to overwatch, you don't want to get used to, so I try and space it out. I just want to let it breathe for a while. That's part of why I don't watch many Nolan films so often, because I can't let those get ruined. That's my guy. But yeah, loved it, and I'm on the edge of my seat to learn your thoughts, Emma, because you just watched it. It's fresh in your mind.
Yeah, I watched it for the first time last night.
Mm-hmm.
It is a hard watch.
Yeah.
And, I definitely agree. You kind of have to like sit on it for a bit. It's not a movie that's like rewatchable over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Very impactful. I definitely enjoyed the commentary regarding psychiatry, especially in like the 60s and even in the 70s and stuff like that, as that stuff was ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
And the criticism of how we treat people with mental health. And that still rings true, even if the methods are not the same. That's still kind of stigmatization of it all. Mm-hmm. In the modern era and stuff like that. And I agree, it's got to be one of Jack Nicholson's best performances.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Jack Nicholson a couple of times in different films, and he's always kind of struck me as like a character actor. And what I really loved in this film was those moments where it just felt so natural, especially in some of those scenes where they're sitting in that circle doing the quote-unquote therapy talk with the nurse. Those scenes flowed so well because everyone felt so natural. It felt like a real life scene, as opposed to something that was scripted where everybody's saying their exact lines. Everybody was flowing over the top of each other. And I was just struck by how natural and human his performance was in this movie.
A lot of improv.
Yeah.
Both Miloš Forman and Jack Nicholson were really into improv at the time. And I think that Nicholson, I forget which scene it was. I feel like it was the baseball scene when he's going around trying to get the votes in the second vote. And he said it was the best improv he's ever done.
Wow.
Which, I mean, kind of, yeah. I mean, we have to look through and see which scenes he's done improv for throughout his filmography. But that scene is one of the most amazing scenes in the film. Yeah. And
I think the reason why he probably holds that bit in such high regard as far as what he was doing is because, improvising is all about making connections and connecting with your scene partners. And in that sequence, he has to get up and like flow between these like 5 or 6 characters who have just been background, like set dressing for this whole time, and go to each one of them and have a kind of moment with them that feels like it's not just him being desperate, but also feels like it pays off. The one where he goes and starts dancing with the guy,
yeah,
I think is cute, and it just happens so like naturally and fluidly. Yeah. So I totally understand how he holds that. Felt like he was at his best in that moment, because it is, when you look at it, just incredible how he was able to weave through all of those characters.
Yeah, effortless.
Yeah,
totally effortless. And some say this is Nicholson's best performance as Randall McMurphy. Now, when I first heard someone say that statement, I was a little surprised because there's so many that you can name as arguably his best.
Yeah.
And he is one of the greats. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought, maybe it is. So what do you think? Is this his best performance? Is it so easy to say so?
I would argue yes.
Okay.
Like I'm a big fan of obviously his portrayal of the Joker and The Shining and whatnot. But for me, like this and About Schmidt, like these are his most grounded kind of performances. But he's still able to like show his strength and that mania and that crazy. Mm-hmm. But what's great about this is that you're constantly kind of watching him trying to discern what is real crazy mania and what is him putting it on, what is him being fake. And it's really fascinating to watch, especially the scenes where he's in the office talking to the other guy. And it's just such a delicate balance. It's almost as delicate and intense as what Ratched has to do as a character, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
But I think it is just a unbelievably like tight and nuanced performance from Nicholson.
Yeah. What do you think, Emma?
Absolutely agreed. This character of Randall is so complicated, and he kind of has to like play on this line of being likable versus unlikable as well. Going back and forth between what is real, what's not real, and it's truly a stunning performance, especially the subject material and what he physically and mentally has to go throughout the entire film, especially in that third act. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's another actor who could have done this. I truly don't.
There were 2 that passed on it. Well, there was one who wanted the role, desperately. Kirk Douglas.
Really? Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Have you heard that story?
I've not heard that.
Okay, so Kirk Douglas.
Actually, you might have told me at Film Bar.
I very possibly I have.
Well, I have not heard that story, therefore you must tell it.
Oh yes, I must tell it again. Yes. So Kirk Douglas bought the rights for the book, like right around the time the book was published. I think 1961.
Right.
And he really wanted to make it into a film, but couldn't get it done, so he made a play out of it. Did not do very well. It was only on for 4 months because at the time, people weren't interested in seeing a film depicting mental illness,
Sure.
in a mental institution.
It was in the 60s.
Yes, the 60s,
Yeah.
exactly.
Escapism theater was very popular in that time. They didn't want something that portrayed real life.
Yes, yeah. So I think it was the end of the 60s. Michael Douglas, his son, was in college and he read the book and he loved it. He became obsessed with it, kind of like his dad did. And he really wanted to get it made. This was early in his career. He had done a few films and a few TV roles, but he wasn't Michael Douglas yet.
Right.
So he asked his dad, can I take this on for you? Can I try and get this film made? The idea was for his dad to play McMurphy.
Yeah.
And that ended up not happening because by the time the film was getting made, he was a little too old.
Right.
And it wasn't his decision, Michael said, but it definitely caused a problem with their relationship for a while. Yeah. Even I watched an interview with Kirk Douglas in 2007, and right when that subject was mentioned, he was like, oh, this is a tough thing for me to talk about. And he was kind of still bitter about it, you know?
Yeah.
He's still, and even Michael Douglas, Colbert asked him once, and he was like, oh, you're going to get me in trouble with my dad. It's like, it's decades later, because it still stings.
That's sore subject, yeah.
Yeah, he really wanted the part. Also, who was really up for it, Gene Hackman was originally asked.
Wow. Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
Interesting. He passed. Brando was offered the part.
That makes sense.
He passed.
Mhm.
Would have been a very different film.
Definitely.
Very
Definitely.
different. And Miloš really wanted Burt Reynolds for a short period of time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think that would
There's
have
a
worked.
Jack was always the number one, Miloš said, but he wasn't available for a while.
Right,
So they
okay.
waited 6 months, I think, to shoot just for Jack to become available.
Great.
But yeah,
The
obviously.
decision was made.
Absolutely, it was, yes. Now, some people say that Nicholson overacted in this film. What do you think?
I mean, he's playing a character who's, it's not clear whether or not he's actually crazy. He's probably not. He's really probably faking it to get out of being in jail. So, yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense in those kind of more exaggerated bits. I also feel like maybe some people would see it as overacting, but I know people that bring that same energy to a room.
Interesting.
There are a few characters in the film community that
That go to Film Bar?
should change the subject. That I think bring that kind of enthusiasm and that kind of larger than life sort of vibe. That talk really loud, that demands everyone's attention, that likes to stir the pot and get everyone riled up. And
I was going to say
no.
We're joking.
So I don't see it as overacting.
Yeah.
I think it's a very grounded, nuanced performance that's underneath that sort of front that he's sort of giving of that big abrasiveness.
Yeah, I think those moments that could be considered overacting, I think they highlight those moments where it's so naturalistic. I think it's such a good contrast, you know, playing around with, again, you know, is he faking certain things? Are certain things real? Those moments of quote unquote overacting for me just brought to light just like those moments of like true human behavior. And so I can understand where that criticism is coming from. I think it's a little misguided.
Yeah.
Personally.
I agree.
So
Jack being Jack.
Mm-hmm.
This is what he loves to do.
he's a character actor.
He's a character actor. And right when the handcuffs are unleashed from him in the beginning of the film, that's Jack. There he is. He's laughing. He's jumping around. That's who we know and love.
And he's auditioning for the Joker. Like that's what it feels like.
Yeah, like I got to that point in the movie and I was like, what am I watching?
I've heard his process is to relax, basically, and that you can kind of tell through his work. Like, he's just having the time of his life. I mean, through the Joker, absolutely. It's clear he's having the best time. Now, Franklin, you said you read Ken Kesey's book, in which the film is based on.
Yes.
From what I've learned, the book is incredibly different from the film, and it is far more surrealist and psychedelic.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about how the book and film compare?
Sure. I think the biggest change, the biggest difference is that the book's perspective is entirely told from the chief's point of view, which is, I think, really interesting, because I watched the film before I saw the book, and I appreciated reading the book post watching the film because we got a little more kind of insight into what's going on inside the chief's head, which I really liked. I do think it was a smart decision the way that they executed the film, that they didn't put like voiceover tracks of the chief. I think that would have totally spoiled the twist where he opens up. And I also think that like when you watch the film with the context of it being a story about the chief more than about McMurphy, it makes all of these editing choices and shot choices all the more like precise and brilliant. And I really appreciate that. The other big change, which I think is probably we'll talk more about later, or at least the biggest change that I remember, is the final climax, or not the final climax, the climax where McMurphy attacks Ratched. In the book, it is an act that's much more kind of rooted in sort of an essay. It's he rips open her shirt or her robe or whatever, and exposes her. And the way that it's described, it's like, you know, no one will ever be intimidated by her again because of that moment. And I really think that that's bullshit. I think that that's really stupid and a terrible misogynistic perspective. And so for that reason, I try not to let the book influence the way that I see the film. I think that the film's approach to that moment makes so much more sense, that it's an act of him boiling over because of what he's just witnessed happen to Billy and the way that Ratched is handling it, and that it's a story much more about institutions and their control over individuals, and those individuals turning violent in rebellion. It feels less about gender or sex in that moment, because I don't think it's supposed to be. Which is interesting, because authorial intent versus adaptation, I think the film is much stronger thematically, because it's not about, Ratched represents women trying to control men. And instead, the film, I think, is much kind of more solidly, I think it does a better job at just talking about how institutions control individuals. Yeah, that's my spiel about that. And I'm sure we'll talk more about that later, because this film, I mean, I think it's really fascinating to analyze. And I know that some people have pulled it apart in perspectives that say this is a film that's very misogynistic. And I can't necessarily say that that's untrue. At the same time, I do think that the point that it's trying to make is much different than trying to say something about men and women. But getting into that, I think the book does a sloppier job at that theme. And so I wouldn't recommend the book, but I would definitely recommend the film. If that makes sense.
Interesting. All right.
But it's fascinating to read, from that, with that in mind.
I do kind of want to read it now after I've seen the film, especially because it's from Chief's perspective. Chief, he's my favorite character.
Keep in mind, the book is also very racist as well. Yeah. I mean, it's very insensitive. But again, it's meant to obviously be that, and you could argue, well, that's the perspective of the characters, but I can't help but feel like the author, is it Ken Kesey?
Kesey, yeah.
It was written in the 60s.
Yeah, exactly.
So it makes sense that he is that way.
Sure.
Essentially.
And there's nothing wrong with including that kind of language or that kind of stuff if obviously you're trying to make your characters feel realistic of that time and whatnot. But when it exists in the film, it feels like it's for the sake of realism and for the sake of building characters. In the book, it doesn't feel as much like that. And I'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Would you like to see the original psychedelic version of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in a film one day?
No.
No?
No.
From what Franklin is describing, neither would I.
I appreciate when you talk about the it is a little more surreal. I think that would undermine what the film does really well in showing the kind of true natural issues with what you were talking about earlier, Emily, how the mentally ill were treated at this time period.
How even still today, mental health is still ostracized and made fun of.
Very much so.
I want to read the IMDb plot summary for the film. A rebellious convict is sent to a psychiatric hospital for evaluation in 1963 Oregon and encourages his docile companions to take more control of their lives and defy the tyrannical head nurse. All right. Now there's two big debates that you kind of touched on surrounding the two main characters, really, McMurphy and Nurse Ratched. We can't tell if McMurphy is crazy or sane, all the while we cannot tell if Nurse Ratched is, if she's sincerely trying to help or if she wants to maintain control of McMurphy and all the other patients on the ward. So let's start with McMurphy. Do you think he's crazy or sane? One of the first scenes is him talking with the doctor with the goal of trying to get to the bottom of RP McMurphy. So I feel like the question comes up pretty early on, so why not dive in?
I mean, this question kind of dives a little bit into human nature. You know, back in the 60s and even the 70s when this movie was made, there was more of a cut and dry kind of definition of were you sane versus were you insane. You know, nowadays we have evolved so much in psychology. We have more terms for what people go through day to day, and every person is so multifaceted and complex as well. I don't think he's necessarily insane. I just think he's complicated. I think he made a decision to put himself in this situation, and now he's being affected by all of those outside perspectives and stuff like that, and he's kind of realizing the situation he's put himself in, and maybe certain other facets of his character are starting to come out in that way. I don't think it's as cut and dry as is he sane or is he insane, because I think that it's the environment around him is also affecting him as well. So that's my answer to it. Let's dive into psychology. Might as well.
I think it depends on the definition of insane. You know, like I also think it's important to note what we learn about him, the context surrounding it, the reason why he's there. Obviously, he had multiple charges of assault, but the reason why he's there was because of he raped a minor, and he claims that it was that she had misinformed him about her age, but can we believe him?
Exactly.
Probably not. I think anybody that is having sex with minors, I would say that, yeah, they have mental problems and need to be institutionalized for sure, period. So in that regard, like, yeah, I think he's probably more insane than Billy or any of the other characters. At the same time, you know, like, he clearly seems to have more autonomy over his mind and what he does. A lot of the other characters seem very, very insecure. A lot of them are, what's the word? They're the ones that put themselves
voluntarily.
They're voluntarily. Yeah. And so it seems a lot of them have a lot of issues that they're at the very least aware of and are trying to actively fix. Whereas McMurphy seems to lack a lot of self-awareness, but also has a huge amount of confidence and a massive ego. So it's a different kind of crazy, I think, than the other men on that floor.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it, especially since a lot of them, you know, voluntarily check themselves in, a lot of those characters who voluntarily check themselves in my opinion, it felt like they didn't feel like they met societal norms in the 60s, which is why they checked themselves in. Again, we're coming back to like that old definition of sane versus insane, was who fit the societal norms versus who didn't. You know, Billy's in there because he's insecure. He's kind of been, you know, pushed out by his mother, and he has a stutter. That's kind of the only reason he's there, essentially. So, yeah, I don't know how to...
Having to me all the time.
Trying to make of, you know, it feels very much like they didn't feel like they fit into societal standards.
Right.
And that's kind of what was considered insane. And not for them to be checked into this hospital. And
society, especially at the time and even today, doesn't have a good solution.
No.
And I think that's the thing, right? Like, it was... The issue is that yeah, McMurphy probably, if everything that he is and everything that he's done, he probably does need some help, but there is no facility at the time that could have given him that kind of help. And honestly, at the time, the right thing for him probably would have been jail. And he took advantage of that flaw in the system to try to, exactly. So not only is he a rapist, he's also a coward. That's one of the things that I find the most interesting about this film and about McMurphy and Nicholson's portrayal and the way that he's written, is that they start this character at the bottom of being empathetic, like at the lowest point. And I remember rewatching like years and years after watching it for the first time, rewatching it, and when that scene came up of him, they like list what he's there for, and immediately like starts doing racist and homophobic and sexist things like right out of the gate. I remember being like, I don't remember him being that bad. How did I feel bad for him by the end? And sure enough, they do a terrific job of still like making him a complex, as you said, complex and complete human being, so that by the end you can still have like it be like, yeah, this guy's a lost cause, but you can still feel bad for the fact that this system has totally failed him, and has killed him, like committed him to a fate worse than death, you know, like, and does he deserve that? Maybe, but like that's still messed up that this society still just will never care about him, just in the same way that they won't care about the Billies, who don't deserve that.
I think that's also a testament to Jack Nicholson's portrayal of Randall as well, because you're right. When I watched that scene and I'm watching Jack Nicholson, you know, perform as Randall and stuff like that, and they mentioned the rape and everything like that, I'm just sitting there going, and he's our protagonist,
right?
I'm supposed to hate everybody else? What is going on? But it's true, towards, you know, at the end in that final act, you do feel sympathy for him and his fate worse than death. And it is very much a testament to Jack Nicholson's acting and being able to portray this such a convoluted, complex, multifaceted character.
I think the big moment of that is he's always acting selfishly, right? And there's only a few moments towards the very end where he doesn't. He, instead of running out the window, right, and leaving.
Like 3 times he could have ran out.
But I've just left.
But he came back for Billy.
He came back for Billy and he came back for Chief.
And so it's less about who he is as a character, or sorry, not that it's not important who he is as a character, but more so, his effect on the others, his effect on Billy and his effect on Chief, that I think make him, you really do feel that sympathy at the end.
He restored their faith in life, their zest for life. There's a few characters that you can compare with him. Jack Dawson in Titanic. What he did for Rose.
I have a confession to make, guys.
Whoa.
Never seen Titanic.
Okay.
Oh, God.
It's at the top of the list.
Emma, have you seen WALL-E?
Of course I have.
It's like, he's like WALL-E.
Okay. I don't know if you're shitting me right now.
No, I'm serious. Big societal operation, right? With all of the, and if you don't fit into the society, if you're dirty, if you're old and kind of squeaky, then you have no place here. But WALL-E comes in and upsets the norm. Anarchy ensues, and we actually end up.
We all sing Hello Dolly?
And we sing Hello Dolly, and we overthrow the monarch.
One of my favorite parts of WALL-E. Sorry to go on this tangent.
Anyway, so, but yes, same thing.
What you're describing with Titanic is also true. The way that Jack kind of.
Sorry. I'm sorry. That's why you have to put me on the podcast more, because this forces me to watch those films.
Yes, Titanic is my tied for favorite film of all time. So that is like,
okay.
So that's why I crumbled.
Sorry.
It's okay. Tyler Durden.
Yes, absolutely.
Early on, I compared McMurphy to Heath's Joker in The Dark Knight.
For sure.
The line, introduce a little anarchy, I think fits perfectly with McMurphy and what he does once he is running loose in the ward.
Absolutely.
And let's see, I think one of the big ones is Lisa Rao in Girl Interrupted. There's a lot of similarities between Girl Interrupted and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Have you seen Girl Interrupted?
Yes, it's been a long time,
okay,
but I have seen it. And I do, Emma? From what I remember. Emma?
I'm pulling up the list.
It's all right.
Okay.
Taking on the list, I'm sorry.
That's Angelina Jolie's character in Girl Interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
They're very similar. They're the ones who create the anarchy. They're the ones who cause trouble, and they're the ones who get punished severely because of, in McMurphy's case, uprising. Well, they both kind of do similar things in that they escape the institution, and some would say it like lost causes. Lisa, they kind of deemed her as a lost cause. Also, another comparison that someone made was Mary Poppins.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is Yeah, Emma's puzzled. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah.
Yeah, the Banks have this.
It does make sense.
This normality that Mary Poppins comes in and introduces some chaos, but ultimately like shows them the true meaning of life. And
movie ends a lot happier than this one.
Yeah,
no, I see it.
From that perspective, I mean, if you think about it, the thesis of this film and what McMurphy is introducing into this world is a little bit of that crazy, and that's life, you know. That's not the crazy that we should be institutionalizing. It's if you don't fit into society, that shouldn't warrant the same consequences of harming the society or harming people in the society.
Yeah.
And that I think that's what I think the film is sort of going for. But you were talking earlier about, we've got McMurphy and that question about him. There's this other character we need to talk about.
Nurse Ratched.
Yeah.
Some say one of the greatest villains of cinema. I think that's very true.
Absolutely.
This is more of a ambiguous case.
Yeah.
There's many that would say that, as you've said, McMurphy was pretending to be crazy. And even in the first scene when the doctor suggests that, he has this big smile that comes across his face. So maybe that's all we need. But before we get to Nurse Ratched, you said something about comparing the film to 70s films like The Graduate. I compare this film to The Stepford Wives.
Oh, yeah.
Basically with this idea that those who rebel must fall in line. And the way it ends, it's somewhat similar, how they're, one's more robotic, one's is just gone.
Yeah.
Just gone. But yeah, Nurse Ratched, well... Is she well-intended? Does she actually care about these patients, or does she enjoy this control that she has over these somewhat, I guess, oppressed men in the ward?
Emma, what's your take?
Oh, okay. We're both looking at.
No, because this is a question I've been struggling with since the first time I saw the film, and one that I still don't have a complete, full answer to, which is what I think is really exciting about it. But you just saw the film last night. Yeah. So what's your take from just having seen it?
Yeah. So I went into this film knowing absolutely nothing. I knew that Jack Nicholson was in the film because of the fact that his face is on the poster.
Oh, yeah.
I knew Nurse Ratched from popular culture.
Right.
I did not know that she was a character in this film. So when you think of, in the popular modern culture, you think of Nurse Ratched as like the woman in the stereotypical nurse costume where it's just splattered with blood and she's like holding like
she's
an axe or something like that. And I think that portrayal of her in popular culture does her character such a misjustice.
100%, yeah.
Because I don't think the answer is one or the other. I think it lies in the middle of, I think she is doing what she thinks is right. Because again, we have to consider the time period of the 1960s. They thought those methods were to help people. They didn't realize the amount of harm that they were doing to people. I also think that, I believe her background was she was an army nurse or something like that.
Oh, I don't know.
I think she was some kind of military nurse.
Was that talked about in the film?
I know. It was not talked about in the film. I think it was talked about in the book, or was that made up for the TV show?
I don't know. I know that there is a TV.
The victory curls kind of gave it away for me.
Right. She does have a sort of militant kind of vibe.
Oh, yeah.
So you could extrapolate that for sure.
Yeah. And also, she is a woman who is working in this industry and stuff like that. She's been given this position of power. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So I think she's doing a little bit of what she thinks is right, but at the same time, she's allowing that power to get to her head in a way that she shouldn't. So I think that the answer lies in the middle. And again, I hate the way that popular culture kind of portrays her, because, they're portraying her as this, physically imposing, brutal woman with an axe, when, her real villainess comes from her intelligence and the way that she's able to tear down these men in the ward and stuff like that. The way that she takes down Billy with only a few sentences is terrifying.
Yeah.
I think her what she says to Billy is what sort of solidifies her place as her sort of status as villain, right? Like it kind of straddles for both. You sort of see moments where she's like kind of relishing in having like the upper hand in the conversations. You see the moments where she's really pissed when they're pretending to watch the game, right? Where she feels like she's losing that control, that authority.
When she's called Mildred, first name.
She hated that.
Yeah. Face turned red.
You see those bits, but it's the moment when, but it's still like semi-ambiguous, especially when she's talking to the other doctors and they're like, we should pass him off. And she's like, no, I think we can help this guy. And you just can't tell if she's like, I really do think I can help him, or if she's like, I have got to like control this dude because she's got this like compulsion towards it or something. So it is really hard. But when she has that bit with Billy and when she brings up like that is 100% emotional abuse.
Oh yeah. Boy, yeah.
So that I think is to me the moment of like, okay, yeah, she maybe to some degree she does want to help people, but she is so saturated into this flawed system that she can't be anything other than harming them, you know, like
she's a figurehead for the institution. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
The other thing that I kind of question is we see for like half a second, I believe, one of the other wards in the film, and it's shown as overcrowded and very, you know, all of the inmates are kind of like wandering the floors and stuff like that. But then, you know, you see so much of the ward where Randall is kept, that Nurse Ratched views over, and it is a lot cleaner. It's a lot more strict and rigid and stuff like that. Would there be consequences for her as a woman? Because it, like, if her floor was, if it looked like the other wards, would there be consequences for her because she's a woman? Would they pin that back onto her? So I'm wondering if part of it is also coming from the fact that she feels like she has to, unless she's going to lose her job. And in the 60s and stuff like that, a woman losing her job, that's losing her autonomy.
Yeah.
So there's that, you know, other kind of feminist aspect to it. Does she feel like she has to do this? There's a compulsion to do that. Because if not, what would the other head, like the heads of the hospital, do to her? Would they fire her from her job? Would they knock down her pay? Would she lose that autonomy that she has?
Yeah, the film definitely also shows that kind of across the board, not just with gender, but also with race.
Yes.
Like you can see how everybody, because of where they are, their standing, so to speak, in society influences their behavior.
Yep.
And, you know, what they're willing to do, what they're not willing to do. I think the film is probably very much aware of that. And I like that you referenced that difference because it's like using production design. And I mean, that's a moment where a director would say like, yeah, no, it needs to be crowded. It needs to be like completely unorganized here so that we get a distinction between how this is operated versus how Ratched operates. I also think that that's maybe one of my favorite bits of visual storytelling in the entire film, and there are so many great moments, but it's that hallway because you got our three characters sitting on the chair waiting, and then the doctor, you never even see his face, and like he's not walking with an intimidating, you know, Ganter. He doesn't come out and like shows any sign of being evil or hardcore or like scary at all.
Nope.
He just walks out of his office and across the hall and into another room, and when he does, every patient in that hallway just kind of like seeps into the walls, into their cells, into the corridor, and like just disappears, and everything goes quiet as like the dead until he crosses the threshold into the other room, and then everything kind of slowly comes back. It felt like watching sea urchins or something. And I love that so much because it tells you everything you need to know about this situation and this institution and how terrifying it really was for people in these places.
I'm happy you tied into the lobotomy scene because the doctors, nurses there, like Nurse Ratched, it seems like they're just numb to routine. It's all procedural for them. When they're brought into the lobotomy, it's all done with precision. Everyone's doing their jobs. No heart or care is put into this at all. No one's even thinking. Electric shock therapy scene, yes. Lobotomy, I don't know if that's an old term or if that's...
Lobotomy is when you make an incision into the brain.
The electric
shock therapy, that's the one you're talking about. That scene with the clinicalness of they're putting the stuff on his temples and they're doing the shock.
So the first time around was electroshock. The second time when he comes back with the scars.
Okay.
They've removed some of his brain.
Thank you for clarifying that because often when people talk about it, I hear the lobotomy scene, but it's really electric shock therapy.
That specific scene is electroshock. You luckily never see the lobotomy scene.
Yeah.
I would have to turn it off.
Well, even that electric shock therapy scene is...
I want to talk about that real quick. And this is something that I think, one of those things that I have always kind of think about that scene when it comes to portraying violence or pain or any kind of harm like that in a film. I have always felt that like the less is more kind of feeling, the grounded realism of that is always harder to watch. It's always more visceral. The fact that it's not done in any kind, there's no even sound effect. A lesser filmmaker would probably have like the sound of it whirring up and then have this put on all the sound design or whatever, but that's not what really happens, which means that at some point someone had to pay attention to what really happens. There is probably documented video or something, but the fact that it's all done in this one shot over him, he's so casual, he's so calm as he normally is. All of the setup that you're talking about, it's very clinical, very procedural, and everything's fine.
The nurse just puts it on his head, and then she puts
it's just him.
Yeah.
And the way that he tenses up still makes me, it's hard to watch.
Oh,
it's really, really hard to watch.
And it's just a slow zoom going in. That's all it is. And then it comes so close to his face. You see the wrinkles on his face scrunched up, and it's just...
You feel that pain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No score, no sound effects.
No, just him.
Just it. And it works so insanely well. I always think about that scene too when it comes to like showing violence or something in a film. And sometimes, I mean, it's very different if you're shooting something heavily stylized. You know, if you're shooting a film like The Substance, obviously you want to go for the over the top cinematic kind of version of it. But if you're trying to capture that real horror of an action like that, go for the subtlety, the nuance.
I just forgot about this until you mentioned another film. I was trying to think of, and when you're talking about the difference between stylized versus just shooting it real, Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That is a heavily stylized film, also featuring a lobotomy. And as Emma puts Requiem for a Dream on her list, right? Yeah. That is extremely experimental. So many cuts are made.
And not that it isn't necessarily effective in that film. I'll be perfectly honest. I'm not a fan of that film.
Interesting.
I'm not. And that scene is hard to watch, but I feel like it is doing sort of the opposite of Cuckoo's Nest because it's sort of going for a different thing. It's trying to really, it keeps trying to punch you and punch you and punch you, whereas Cuckoo's Nest just feels like a pencil getting stuck into your gut. You know what I mean? It's a different kind of feeling, but I do think that the Cuckoo's Nest one is more effective to me. And also one that I'll revisit this film many times because of just how simply and effectively it's done. Requiem, as you said, very different. Way of showing that.
And it's a punch and it's a punch and it's a punch because we're going back to each of the four main characters who are in their own troubled situations.
When you say troubled, you mean like the worst human pain you can experience.
Yes, I'm trying to lower it because
this film, I don't know what's going on.
I don't want you to be deterred from it. So that's why I'm trying to lessen it. But you parallel edit from this character to this character, this character. But when you're just focused on Jack, it's more effective, but not to take anything away from the scene in Requiem for a Dream because that's also hard to watch, but also all the other storylines hard to watch. Now, Cheswick was very upset. Jack didn't seem to know what was going to go on. McMurphy. I'm going to probably interchange the names. But do you think Cheswick knew what he was about to undergo?
I'm glad you mentioned this because watching this time around, I realized just how intuitive Chesnick is the entire film. He's always the butt of the joke and he always feels like he doesn't know what's going on. Like he's the most kind of out of it, sensitive one there. And yet he always has the accurate beat on what's going on. He calls out Nurse Ratched on her BS when it's actually time to do that. He knows that the situation he's in when they're about to shock him, he knows how bad it is. He's very, very empathetic, but he almost has a supernatural level of empathy, of intuition. This is really interesting when you watch that. There's all these little moments where he almost kind of knows what's going to happen before it happens. And it at first comes across like he's just paranoid, but in reality, I think he is actually quite
perceptive.
I think it was him that called out Nurse Ratched because Billy, she was kind of...
She's abusing Billy. And he's like, why do you have to say that to him?
She knows the buttons to press, so she keeps pressing him. And everyone's quiet. No one really wants to get into it. But he's kind of like, if he doesn't want to talk about it, can we just talk about something else? We have this issue. And he's the one that picks it up. And we see it early on in the film with Nurse Ratched going after Billy once again. And that's the character who Nicholson and Fletcher really fight over, is Billy. And of course, we know his fate is that's I'm sure we're going to get into that. But
you're so right about that. Like that's another moment where he's the one that picks up on, this is crossing the line. I'm not comfortable with this. And everybody kind of disregards him, especially Ratched, because he's always kind of portrayed as being the super sensitive man-child, when in reality, like you said, he's there. He's got it.
He says, I ain't no little kid. He just wants his cigarettes. Yeah. He realizes he's being treated more like a kid. And by the end of the film, they catch on to, thanks to McMurphy, that they're treated more like prisoners than patients. Mm-hmm. What she's doing to him, and, wait your turn to talk, and him defying her wishes of going into Billy further and further. Oh no, did I just lose my train of thought going back?
You're good.
It's a massive chaos to massive punishment, which is another elevation in the film.
Also want to mention too, and this is talking about story structure, they do a really good job of like balancing these hard moments with moments of levity. It's between this hard fight that's very chaotic and intense. Between that and the lobotomy scene, or the electroshock scene, we have maybe one of the most like heartwarming moments.
The funniest moment in this film.
With the juicy fruit.
And it's absolutely beautiful. Like it's so...
one of my favorite moments is just... I love Chief. Chief's my favorite.
Yeah, of course. When you realize that it's his story. And
you fooled them all, Chief. You fooled them all.
Yeah. Just him, slowly taking it, just going, thank you. And it's just that one little moment, that one little spark of... No, he's not, he's putting on an act, because I believe he was involuntary. He was one of the ones who was involuntary committed.
Yeah. Involuntary. Yeah.
Yes.
And we don't know his story.
I want to know more.
Does the book go into it?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I honestly don't remember if the book talks about what it was.
Yeah, because I want to know more.
No, I like the fact that we get to see his evolution, and I personally feel like what we're seeing is him gaining confidence because of McMurphy and because of what's happening. Like we really do see him feel as though, well, I am stuck here and I can't be anything, so therefore I am nothing.
He's been given a purpose now.
And then, starting with the basketball scene, and then when you see him running down the court.
He's not running, he's just walking. He's just walking just that slowly.
I think he jogs back the other way after.
There's one where he's
that's true, yeah.
It's such a great build. And culminating, of course, in the final payoff, which again, this film is great at the setups and payoffs.
Yeah.
And that's a moment, too, when McMurphy references the shower pedestal and says, I'm going to take this thing, I'm going to throw it out the window. And we cut to the chief, like it's like such a subtle moment where he kind of goes like that.
Yep.
And it's one of the few times we cut to the chief, because we're cutting all over the place. So all these crazy people having reactions. But that moment is so specific and brilliant to watch on rewatch. And then, of course, paying off with him
chucking it out the window.
Yep.
Chucking it out the window.
Running away to Canada.
It feels so cathartic to watch that.
Yeah.
Like it really does feel like a triumph.
I cried a little bit watching that. I was like, oh, Chief.
I also think, too, I think it's important to note as well, even though the chief feels very absent from the film in the first sort of section before, he starts talking and whatnot, the music that plays when he runs out, right, is also the same music we hear at the beginning when McMurphy shows up. And the music does have a sort of tribal kind of Native American tone to it.
Yeah, I love that you're talking about this.
It plays when we get the shot of the car rolling up from the mountain, right? Which is what Chief is described as. He's the size of a mountain. Yeah. And so we hear that music in the exterior shot. Then the music doesn't come back while we're in the institution until
that final. Oh my God, I did not realize
she kills McMurphy and throws the thing through the window. So in a way, like even though we don't get the voiceover of my name is the chief and I remember when McMurphy showed up, we still get this sort of kind of hint that it's about him. Yeah.
Very smart decision.
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, fun stuff. I love the little details like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's brilliant you mentioned that because I watched this excellent video about the score, and Jack Nitzsche's, hope I'm saying his name right, score is both diegetic and non-diegetic.
That's right.
The diegetic score is more powerful and very much for control, like very controlling. Non-diegetic is freedom. So after music of freedom accompanies the opening scene as Jack is being driven to the institution, there is no music supporting him. Nurse Ratched's territory now, so she imposes her classical music.
That's right. And we see the record, and we hear the music, and it sounds like it's playing from within the space.
Yeah,
right?
like every time the scene will start with the record player, that
That's
shot,
right.
classical music.
Yeah.
And the tribal drum returns when Jack's soul is released.
That's right.
Yeah, it's almost like a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, the score in the beginning of the film, it ends when he's coming in and it's replaced with like a ticking clock. Another little detail. But even on the road trip, on their way to go fishing, the music is back. The independent freedom music is back. Yeah.
I was like, what is he doing? Wait, my chief like lift him over the fence. I'm like, is this over? Is he just escaping? And then he gets into the bus and I went, oh, okay, we're going fishing.
Yep, going fishing. A little escapade for them.
That was fun.
It's
I think that's when I realized Danny DeVito was in the movie. I think that was the moment I was like, oh wait, that's Danny DeVito.
So that's
Like first film, right?
Well, yeah, I believe so, which is amazing. I mean, his like big debut when everyone like knew who this guy was. I gotta go on a quick little tirade about it. Danny DeVito, the first time everybody was like, who is this guy? Was when he played in the TV show Taxi. He played the guy. It looks like he's sitting in a booth that's kind of like elevated and high up above everybody. He's the guy that's getting all the requests or whatever and sending people out.
He's
dispatch. He's dispatch. And
He does that at the same time.
and he's elevated, and you only see him from like the shoulders up, but he's very cranky. He's very like aggressive. He's very kind of authoritative. And there's this moment where like someone is challenging him or whatever, and it's like, please, you got to let us do it. And he's like, all right, I'm going to come down there and get tough with you. And it was the most brilliant moment, I think, in television history, because it introduced the world to Danny DeVito as he opens the door and walks down these steps, and you get to see Danny DeVito and the statue. Like, he comes down and is literally like up to everyone's navel as he's like pointing at them still. And that was the moment where everyone was like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. But yes, this was in fact his debut, and he's so young. He's tiny.
He's a baby in this.
He's also brilliant. The way that he...
Guys, we're cheating.
The way that he throws the basketball away from the game. Yeah, that's amazing.
So fun. Oh, man.
And he does this thing with his face too, even when he's like upset or nervous, where he still kind of has that like weak smile. It feels so genuine to someone like that. I thought it was a really earnest and honest portrayal. Someone could have made that like really cartoonish, for someone's mental illness.
Human element that DeVito is able to bring to
But he
it.
does it very earnestly and sincerely. It doesn't feel exploitive at all, which is great. This film also has some other really great newcomers, including Mr. Christopher Lloyd, who everyone knows.
Doc Brown.
Doc Brown. And Uncle Fester, right? This incredible legend now. And getting to see him in sort of his younger
I
years.
completely forgot he was Uncle Fester.
Yeah.
Completely. I also haven't watched the Addams Family films in a hot second. I have
so
seen them.
So
I have
good.
seen them. I have seen them. Let me reiterate this. I have seen
not.
both of those movies.
Okay.
I just...
All right, we'll be doing that then. And then the other one that I absolutely love is Brad Dourif, who plays Billy. Brad Dourif is a phenomenal actor. I've always been a huge fan of it, and I feel like it's super criminally underrated. If anybody here, I don't know if you guys have seen Exorcist 3.
Horror? No.
No.
Absolutely not. No.
In Exorcist 3, he has to bounce back and forth between like he's basically playing the devil, and it's such a brilliant performance. But he's also played he's the voice of Chucky. He played Wormtail in Lord of the Rings. The man is brilliant, and so getting to see him also as like a kid is really really incredible. And his performance in this is absolutely like, every time they cut to him, it's in a close-up, and the camera is so close on his face. And it's so great too, because in almost all of those moments, he's ping-ponging between like the oppression of Ratched and his mother, and he'll glance over at the other inmates and get that little bit of validation and that little bit of like, oh, I have a place here. I have friends. I am welcome. And then all it is just like a little neck turn. And then he's back to that oppression. And it's so intense and expertly shot. But yeah, the performance is just
this movie was so well cast.
Oh yeah,
everyone did such a brilliant job.
The little side characters too. All the other ones.
Everyone.
What's his name? I'm blinking on his name, but he was in The Shining. He's
Scatman Crothers.
Scatman Crothers.
I was about to say Jack Nicholson, but no, he wasn't in The Shining. No, that was
Scatman Crothers is also in The Shining with Jack Nicholson.
I was about to say no, he was in The Shining.
4 movies together. Yeah,
that's right. They did quite a few, and he's great in this. You just really feel the well, I've lost my job. Fuck it. Like it's so on point. I do think the girl playing Candy is really good too. She had I forgot what line it is.
She's adorable. Yeah.
She has a line. Oh, it's when she gets on the bus.
And so you're all crazy?
You're all crazy?
And Cheswick is just smiling,
just like, yep.
And she's just like, all right. And she's just like, we're going with it.
Like everybody does a terrific job, acting wise. What a fucking awesome film.
Yes, and because of it taking so long for Nicholson to be ready, it helps them create this ensemble cast with that time. And they had a few weeks of rehearsal. Yeah,
you can tell the chemistry was all there.
Yeah. And it also makes sense, too, that Nicholson kind of joined later, since that is, they already have a rapport as this ensemble, and then this kind of outsider comes in and fucks everything up. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
2 weeks of rehearsal in the mental hospital.
Yeah.
They shot in a real mental hospital.
They did.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oregon State Hospital.
I believe it's been, at least the original building's been torn down.
I hope so.
I don't know, because I saw this interview with the doctor in the film, who's actually... who was the superintendent of the hospital from 1955 to 1981.
Really? That's cool. That's a fun fact.
Yeah. He was in the film, and he was a little nervous to shoot the scene with Nicholson, but Nicholson just told him, like, just focus on my eyes, we'll ad-lib. And so they just ad-libbed their scenes. And he's a doctor. He's not an actor. So look at him go with Nicholson and create these very interesting scenes to watch.
Yeah, yeah.
So I did slightly misspeak. It's Oregon State Hospital. The hospital is still in operation, but the original buildings in the film have been demolished.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
So no ghosts there, I hope.
Oh my gosh. Oh, maybe. But he was being interviewed, and we saw the building and we saw the tree that Jack, fell down from the hospital, still standing.
Yeah.
So I don't know how recent it was. I meant to look, but he was very much an old man at this point.
Yeah, yeah. I will say, you mentioned the tree.
Yes.
That shot, it's one lingering shot, one big wide shot of him climbing the fence and then going over the barbed wire, hopping on the tree, and then dropping down. I don't know, like, films don't, I hate the thing where he's like, they'll never make that kind of film again. But that is a shot that it's like, I don't see that in modern films, where it's like it's just a pretty natural stunt. And normally it's like, okay, we want to make sure that everything is like good with the actors and whatnot. And I think nowadays, like, legally, you'll have to have some wires and stuff. But
they would probably never let like some of the like lead big A-list actors do that, just because if something were to go wrong and they like sprain their ankle,
exactly,
everything's shut down for the next several weeks. So they probably can't do that anymore, because they would have to put a stunt double in there,
right?
And you can't have like that wide shot with him. Yeah,
exactly. But I still watch that shot and I'm like, man, that's a time capsule right there. You can't do that now.
So
it's great. I mean, it works really well.
Yeah,
and I like that we linger on it. Like
the potential for him, Jack Nicholson, like as the actor getting hurt, like he had to climb over the wires too.
Yeah,
there's a very real possibility he could have gotten like scratched up and stuff like that.
Falling through.
Yeah, and then he climbs the tree, and then he falls down. So many things could have gone wrong, and they just did it anyway. It's not something you can do today, just because of legal and liabilities, and the fact that there's no A-list actor on the face of the planet who would probably do that because of...
Not for a simple tree shot, not for a hop the fence shot.
See, this is why I wish Nicholson did interviews.
Yeah.
I found one video of him talking about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Really?
One. He never did interviews, and there's some scenes like that, like the lobotomy scene, like the final scene where his head is lifted up by Chief, I just want to know I just want to hear his side of filming these moments.
Yeah.
If anyone who knows Jack Nicholson is listening to this and would like to connect Jack Nicholson to Elizabeth Wilde, please
reach out to me.
Yeah, I know what he's doing. He's at NBA games with a Tupperware full of chili that he's...
That's the only way to reach him.
Is it homemade?
Yeah, you bet it is. Have you seen the photo?
No, I haven't.
No.
There's a photo of.
There's a photo of, it's modern day Jack Nicholson. He's like sitting in the front row of, I think he got kicked out of the game because of it.
Oh, no, they would never kick Nicholson out.
You got to see this photo though.
He's sitting in the front
They
row
will throw people out.
with a.
With a Tupperware, and he's spilled it all over himself. I got to find this now. It's a very funny photo. And anybody listening can look it up on their...
Yeah.
Yeah.
NBA games are actually pretty strict. Like football games.
Yeah, but it's Jack Nicholson.
I've had so much shit happen to me at a football game. NBA games, not
Really?
They shut that shit down. They're very, very, yeah.
I just can't imagine, like, you have Jack Nicholson there, front row. He's been there for decades. Who's going to tell him?
It fell in the court. That's probably why they kicked him out.
Yeah. But again, you can get away with anything being in the crowd of the NFL, but the NBA, no, they'll throw you out.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they kicked him out.
I say this as someone who, at their first ever NFL game, had beer poured all over her
No.
in the freezing cold.
Oh my
Because
God.
it was in like late December, early January when this happened.
Jeez.
By someone, like someone did that to you?
Oh yeah, the dude behind me. We won the game though.
That's not the
We
point.
won the game.
You got beer.
Got into the division. We won.
You should have gotten an apology.
We won AFC South that year, and I had beer poured all over my jacket.
Oh, no.
He did apologize the next week though.
Oh, the next week it took a week?
Well, because that's when we came back. I didn't have this guy's number.
No, in the moment he should have said, oh, I'm so sorry.
I was too drunk, man.
Oh.
That was the problem. Anyway, that's a weird tangent.
Oh, yes, but
Yeah.
I just want to reiterate, Jack Nicholson or anyone who knows Jack Nicholson,
Please contact Elizabeth Wilde
Please.
immediately.
please do. I would love to interview you. You're one of my dream interviews. I know it's probably unlikely.
And bring a bowl of chili.
Yeah, bring a bowl of chili.
Bring a bowl of chili.
Bring a Tupperware chili.
Yeah,
Tupperware
bring a big old Tupperware.
I would love to have chili. I love chili. So yes, please.
Yes.
There's a scene where McMurphy's in the pool and he's poked with a stick by a warden, and he's saying, I'll be seeing you on the outside if you know what I mean. And he thinks he has 68 days left.
Mm-hmm.
But the warden says, what are you talking about? That's in jail. You're with us and you'll stay with us until we let you go. Do you think whoever got him situated with this hospital, do you think they purposefully misled him about the consequences or opting to go to a mental institution over a jail at this time?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't know. If they had told him, he might have wanted to stay in jail.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they would have misled him.
I don't know if they misled him or just didn't tell him.
Yeah, just, again, another flaw in the system.
Yeah, it's like if he made the decision, he was like, no, I'm going to go to this mental institution. I think it was just in his mind and no one told him differently because no one knew in his mind that he was thinking that, he could essentially get off with a lighter sentence doing this in his mind. So I think it was just no one told him differently until this moment. Also, my favorite part about that pool scene is there's one of the guys rolling another guy in a wheelchair right into the water.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite moments of the film. It's just a little moment of just wheeling a little further right into the water.
I was reminded of Girl Interrupted because Susanna checks herself in, but she doesn't realize, oh, I can't just check myself out.
Right.
So I wonder if this is, I should have done more research into the real life scenario of this, but I wonder if it was common back in the day. I mean, they're both films in the 60s depicting mental institutions. So I was curious if you both thought he was purposefully misled or not, or just not told.
The whole kind of theme of the film is how flawed and messed up this system is. So I think it would make more sense to me if it was literally just oops.
An oversight.
Yeah.
And they have no incentive for him to be at the institute initially. They would have preferred he just stay in prison like he was supposed to. So I think, kind of just seems like it was an oversight.
The doctor even said in that scene where they're all kind of analyzing him, like, what do we do with him? immediately was like, well, he should go.
Get rid of him.
Yeah. It's the work farms.
Absolutely.
Earlier in talking about Nurse Ratched, you mentioned how tough it is to analyze her in that scene because she thinks that we'd be passing on our problem to someone else, which is not what they do. And she says she believes she can help him. It's in moments like that where it's really hard to tell if she is genuine or not.
Yeah.
She walks this incredible line, the actress, between, being genuine and having that control and being corrupted by that power. Her performance, too, was absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
She won the Oscar.
Served it.
The second film to win the Big Five.
The Big Five, yeah.
Only happened 3 times.
Yep.
The next one was The Silence of the Lambs.
That's right.
The first was It Happened One Night, like the first standard rom-com. Now, we've talked about the institutions not being... Well, basically they suck, yeah. So this question is probably so easy to answer, but do you think the nurses and wardens are properly helping the patients slowly transition to life outside of the institution?
Yeah, they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing their best. Come on. No, I think the film, it's very clear in the film. And I like that it is done in such a way that isn't so obvious. Like, they could have portrayed these people as actual villains, They could have been like, hey, and like constantly demeaning, undermining, abusing, physically assaulting. Like, they could have gone to the extreme, and I'm sure a lesser film would have done that, would have made them out to be like cartoon villains. And instead, it's not about the fact that these people are evil or bad. It's the system that is the reason why Nurse Ratched is the way that she is. It's the reason why everything is so messed up and it's a really terrible situation. It's because of the systemic issue, less than the individuals.
The reason this film works is because no one is ever caricatured.
Yeah.
It is so real. It is so human. That goes back to even the electroshock therapy scene of it wasn't him being led into a dark room where he has to sit on a chair with a giant thing over his head and all the wires sticking out. No. It's all so real. And these are things that actually happened in our past that humans thought that this was doing good for those people when we were actively torturing and harming them.
It does good for them because then they become good patients, as I've heard some people regard after they go through electric shock therapy.
Or the lobotomies, like that's great. And you start to realize the other patients in that ward that aren't as social or they're not participating as much. How many of them have experienced that?
Yeah.
And are now the perfect complacent, compliant, and undisruptive vegetable that society now wants them to be.
So in the voting scene when he's going around and, dancing with the man and they have 9 votes, they need just one more so they can watch the World Series. So he's going around to all these patients that are in the background. I mean, some of them are just unresponsive, but do you think that they went through the lobotomies or electric shock therapy to make them who they are? Or...
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. I think the point of that scene, though, is that it's a deep allegory because on the one hand, it's like, yes, those who are maybe overlooked should have a say. At the same time, when the person in power is rigged the game in such a way where, well, we know that half of you aren't going to vote, therefore, like it's in a system where it's like, half of the population are uneducated. Like, should there be a metric for whether a vote should count or not based off of your ability to choose? You know what I mean?
Yeah, really, it goes to a wider discussion.
Yeah, it's a complex thing, and it's done in this tiny little circumstance. It's really effective because it's complicated. It's not as simple as right or wrong.
Yeah. I think to make some of them as, docile and almost set dressing, I definitely think some of them were subjected to these tortures. Sure. 110%.
Yeah.
So
I wonder of the main characters in the main ensemble, if any of them were. And I wonder, because if Cheswick knew something going in.
What's happened before?
Yeah, what's happened before? What kind of talk is there around the hospital? Because we don't really hear about it. It's not really something that's so discussed.
Well, you're right. I don't know if they talk about it necessarily, but I do think that they all are. It's like in the scene where they all scatter when the guy comes in. It's just like we don't want to think about it. We don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. And I think it's because they probably witnessed, some of the characters who essentially became set dressing. I think they witnessed, them screaming and being let out and then coming back and being docile and complacent. Sure. I don't know if Cheswick may have gone through it, but they knew that being let out that door and going to that place meant something was going to actively harm them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, actually, I just caught this watching today. There was a line that's kind of heard in the background about Chief returning to the ward. So it seems like he had undergone that before.
Maybe, yeah.
That's very possible.
It was the first time I caught this line.
I want to know more about Chief.
Yeah.
I want to know more about Chief.
Well, some of those moments with Chief are some of the most important.
Yeah.
Towards the end when he talks about his dad.
Yeah.
That's a complete parallel with McMurphy. He said, "My papa's real big. He did like he pleased. That's why everybody worked on him. The last time I seen my father, he was blind in the cedars from drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And every time he put the bottle to his mouth, he didn't suck out of it. It sucks out of him until he shrunk so wrinkled and yellow. Even the dogs don't know him." And Nicholson asked, "Killed him, huh?" I'm not saying they killed him. They just worked on him the way they're working on you.
Yeah.
Oh, what a foreshadowing moment, that line.
And so much said in a short little bit.
Yep.
I mean, it reminds me a lot of the monologue in Jaws. He's talking about his experience watching everybody he knows getting eaten alive by the sharks. But it packs such a powerful punch, and like you said, is a really great parallel to what's going on with McMurphy. And also demonstrates that all of these people in this ward have circumstances that they've come from. There's context to what they're experiencing, and we only get like little bits of it, what their lives were like before they came here. But the fact that it was his father once again demonstrates and continues the theme of this being a systemic issue. That this is something that gets passed down. It's not like someone just started to be this way. This is because of how society controls people and puts them down. So yeah, it's a great bit.
Yeah, they really only have very few conversations. That's kind of the main one towards the end.
Yeah.
It gives his motive at the end meaning. We understand why he does what he does by killing McMurphy.
Right. It feels it feels consensual. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Like it feels as though that's exactly
what he would have wanted.
Yeah, that McMurphy would have rather have been dead than be like that.
Yeah. Well, Emma, what did you think of the ending? Because the way the audio is mixed, it's hard to hear what Chief is saying unless you put on subtitles.
Yeah.
I think that was purposeful. We're not supposed to hear everything that he says in that moment, but what did you think just watching it for the first time?
No, I absolutely think that, Chief was acting in McMurphy's best interest. He says this line about, I'm going, you're coming with me. And it felt like, that was very much an act of mercy and even the way that he did it was so delicate. The way that he very gently placed the pillow over and very carefully just put his hand there and stuff like that and carefully applied the pressure to kill McMurphy. And then let his rage out on, picking up the giant granite and chugging it out the window. I don't know, I'm even crying talking about it. It's a very heartbreaking but also beautiful moment. And it does very much solidify that this was Chief's story, and we hope that Chief makes it to Canada and has his happy ending and stuff like that. It's heartbreaking, and it, when we got back to the moment of the status quo and stuff like that, after Nurse Ratched got strangled by Randall and got taken away, it felt very much like this system was crashing down on the inmates. It was crushing down on them of one person cannot start a rebellion. But that moment with Chief gave a little bit of hope and gave that kind of open ending of what happens now.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Yeah, I know that, in history, stuff doesn't get better for a bit, but it makes it open to hopefully the system changing.
Yeah. Because change is also systemic, just like
just like depression.
It takes forever,
and it never goes according to plan either. But what McMurphy inspired in Billy, what he inspired in the Chief, that's what made the difference. I also think it was interesting. I like how you talked about when it cuts back, and it does definitely feel like we're back in the status quo. I do think that what the book tried to do and failed to with the whole ripping her shirt is achieved in better effect with her neck brace. There's just something a little less intimidating about her with that silly neck brace on.
She's human.
Yeah, but she's still no less like in the authority position, and everything is still back to normal. Nobody has nothing has changed really. It's just that to the audience and to maybe the characters, she's just a little less frightening because she's got this thing there. But the end bit when he finally does crash through the window and whatnot, I like that we hold on. I don't remember the character's name, but we hold on Christopher Lloyd's character having the reaction. And I think that was really important to get to see that Chief's action is now inspiring enthusiasm and optimism in them that this is possible. And even though they don't all rush out, which I think that could have been a decision that someone could have, I can imagine a producer being like, he should throw the thing and they all run out because they should all get to go. But I like that instead it's just that the Chief has his moment and that the others get to watch knowing now that it's possible.
Well, yeah, and I think they kind of leave it open-ended because that final shot of Chief running into the forest, that has to happen way outside of town.
Yeah.
So they could have potentially followed and gone their own ways and stuff like that.
They have the option to choose.
Yeah, there is that open-endedness with just that shot of him chucking it through the window, climbing out, and just gone. And so maybe they did follow, maybe they didn't, maybe they chose to return to status quo because it was safer. Or maybe they did, decide to, choose going out into the world. But you see that final shot of him running through the woods, Chief. Made me cry.
Yeah. I want to go back to a moment with the nurse and McMurphy hitting its climax when he lunges at her. That shot of McMurphy just angered.
Yeah.
And we see Nurse Ratched on the side of the frame, and then it's just one take. He goes right after her. And it's just this brutal. It feels so like a long moment.
Yeah, is anyone going to stop him?
Yeah. And someone was calling for him to be stopped. One of the patients. I don't remember which one, but you hear him, "Stop, McMurphy, don't do it." And then the wardens come after him. And yeah. I love that shot because I can just see the anger in his face right there. And it's one of my favorite shots in the film.
It's very intense. And I don't know. Was there something about how she was actually injured on set? I don't know, or maybe I'm just imagining that because it seems so real.
It does seem real.
So I don't know if
I'm gonna look that up.
What no, I should know that.
It might be worth
just insert it in post. Just insert whether this is a fact or if Franklin's just making stuff up.
I don't know, but all that I know is that it looks real. It looks very visceral. Yeah, very visceral.
As the entire film is.
And if it was done safely, then holy shit, great job, because it was. I
hope it was.
Yeah, we hope it was, but it was very, very intense to watch.
That does sound familiar, that story.
Yeah, I can't remember. I might be thinking of a different instance of something like that.
I feel like it could be true.
Yeah. I mean, the shot of her face on the ground is still seared into my brain.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's way more effective than what the book does.
Yeah.
It also makes more sense for McMurphy. In that moment, he's not trying to humiliate her. He's just
trying to kill her.
Pissed. Yeah.
He's just trying to kill her.
He's violent. He has
not just because of what's happened to Billy, but the fact that she says the words that get him to that are everything's fine. We just got to go back to normal, right? Yeah. And it's not Nurse Ratched that's necessarily the evil.
Yeah, it's the system. Absolutely.
That she's trying to maintain in spite of circumstances that should warrant everything coming to a stop. You know?
Yeah.
Order versus chaos. That's the big contrast throughout the film, order versus chaos.
And the film, I don't think, glorifies or validates his act of violence either. It doesn't work, and it ends with his a fate worse than death for him.
Yeah.
It's not that violence is the solution, and I don't think the film is pretending like that is correct or that's the right, because it doesn't work out for him. But it does, it climaxes the story in a way that makes sense and was brilliantly executed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that in a way both like condemns order and chaos.
Yeah,
It shows that you have to have a good balance between the two of them.
Yes.
absolutely.
So I think that's part of like also with like the critique of this system and of psychiatry in general is you have to have that kind of balance or the world will not survive. You can't have just strictly one way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And the characters themselves, these two, they're debating what their motives are, who they are, if they're one's crazy or sane, one's well-intentioned or relishes in control. We don't know. So it makes sense for the film not to really take a side and glorify any of it.
Yeah. It works better that way.
We do sort of see the disorder of the chaos and the consequences of the pure chaos, both in the boat. It's a little more harmless with the boat, but like where like it's just complete disarray, and the boat is going in circles.
Come back and they're holding the fish.
Which is, I love that too. They got the fish.
It's the direct reference to the photo on the guy's desk where he's holding the fish.
Great reference. There's technically two fishes, so we know that they must have stayed out. But I do love that scene starts with him telling just straight, and at the end of the shot, they're literally going in circles. And of course, the other time it sort of shows the futility of pure chaos is obviously with the party, which might have been great and a good time, but obviously led to some terrible consequences for the people involved.
Also, I don't know entirely enough about boats in the 1960s, but I also don't think that the way that they just turned the boat, I don't think that actually does work, because there's like engines involved and stuff like that, so... It's a small little flaw in the film is I don't think the boat can actually turn in circles the way that they showed it in the film. Anyway,
that's fine.
Actually, another little thing like that, they're playing Monopoly and they have plastic little houses or
hotels.
Yeah, and their little spaces. It's been so long since I played Monopoly. I don't know what they're called. But that's actually not correct because they were wooden back at this time, but they had plastic in the film.
Little anachronism. But I like that Martini eats one.
Oh, yeah, and it just comes right out of his mouth.
Oh, he eats the dice, yeah.
Yeah.
He sure just takes the dice and he just starts eating it, yeah.
No, but he ate one of the houses too, right? Because I saw it just like quickly come out of his mouth, and I was like, oh.
So he's storing them.
Yeah.
On Broadway, I think. I think at Broadway, he keeps sticking that hotel. And he's like, no.
Well, he can't play any of those games, right?
Which is great, yeah. And he's so enthusiastic about it too, at that time.
And even the basketball game, as we said.
Hit me. Hit me.
When are we going to win our money back? It's such a good line, too.
You're not going to. Do you think One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest will be celebrated as the masterpiece that it is another 50 years from now?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's going to be even more of a time capsule. I don't know. Sorry to turn to this on this podcast, but I don't know if the world's going to get any better or any worse in the next 50 years.
Are we going to be around in the next 7 years? Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, is the world going to look more like the inside of this insane asylum or less? I don't know, but
we're going to be optimistic here. I'm going to be optimistic to Franklin's pessimism, as I sometimes am. It's, I do think it will be celebrated in the next 50 years.
I hope
it's
so.
already being celebrated now in its first 50 years of existence. It is a time capsule. It is such a critique on psychiatry back in the day and even to this day. And so, because the system has not changed as much as we need it to.
absolutely.
So
regardless of whether we end up in regardless of whether we're destined for a utopia or dystopia, I don't think this film is going to be any less relevant with what it's saying about society. And I think the problems that it's talking about with oppression, with control, order versus chaos, those are going to be just as relevant 50 years from now, regardless of how great or not so great things are. These will still be very important themes and topics to talk about.
Yeah.
Thank you both very much for joining me today to have an excellent conversation that I've thoroughly enjoyed.
This is the best.
I'm thrilled to have discussed such a phenomenal film with you both and for you two to come on the podcast today. So thank you so much. This has been awesome.
This has been amazing.
It's been awesome.
Now, we have a few things to plug, I believe. Emma,
God.
You were going to be starring in an aerial pre-professional show,
Yes.
Cirque de Morts, in October. What can you tell us about the show?
Cirque de Mort. A fun fact about me is that I have started delving into the world of aerial and circus arts. We have a pre-professional showcase on October 3rd and 4th. I believe it's 7 p.m. for both of those shows. I happen to be in a couple of the numbers showcasing some of the skills I've learned over the past 2 years. I'm really, really proud of the progress that we've made so far on the showcase. I'm excited to see everything that we get to put together in October. So yeah, if you guys want to come out, I think tickets are $33 is what we've decided.
33.
So $33. It does sound expensive, but we have an incredible amount of talent. Watching my fellow aerialists perform is a dream, and I personally think we could even charge more, but that's just...
No, it doesn't sound expensive. It just sounds specific. 33.
Yeah, 33.
Why 33?
Well, Cirque de Mort, witching hour and stuff like that.
Oh, got it. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Cool.
Yeah, so it's a little spooky, a little scary, and some witchy stuff. So we do also have a showcase for kids if you would like to bring your children. I think probably ages like 4 and 5 and up. We have a Saturday matinee at 2 p.m., which I will be a part of in some capacity, not entirely sure what yet, but we will also have that as well if you have younger children and want to bring them and show them the world of aerial arts, because aerial arts is open to everybody, and it's always so much fun.
You've been working hard for a while now for this show, right? You've been training, and you've even had trouble with the gym, like air conditioning problems, right? Because it's so hot. So
yeah, here in Florida, it's been hitting 100 on any good day and stuff like that. We've been training with a very small AC in our studio and stuff like that, but we're powering through. We're going to keep pushing on. I actually leave in a couple of days. By the time this is released, I'm probably going to be back, but I'm actually having an aerial retreat in Portugal where I'm going to be training for 6 days straight. I am excited and terrified and so ready to go on this new adventure.
That's amazing. This must be such a highlight in your career. This is so cool.
Yeah. Something that I kind of decided when I started aerial arts was I wanted to bring this amazing and beautiful community and introduce it to film and theater and be able to form a symbiotic relationship between kind of this cool performance of circus with film, with theater. We have so many amazing art communities here in Jacksonville, and I don't feel like we have enough of a symbiotic relationship between all of them. So to be able to form these connections and be able to introduce new artistic endeavors into one another is something I really, really want to champion and push. So that's something that I'm doing right now.
October 3rd and 4th in Jacksonville.
St. Augustine, actually.
Oh, St. Augustine.
St. Augustine.
Wonderful. Yes.
Yes, Ancient City Aerial Arts right off of US 1.
All right. Everyone, if you're in the area, make sure you go see that. Get your tickets now.
Yes, get your tickets.
Seating. $33. Seating is limited, yes. And Franklin, you said you have some friends have short films out that you want to mention, but I also do want to mention Last Resort Ideas on YouTube and The Artifice Girl.
Thank you.
Everyone can go watch The Artifice Girl.
Yes, Artifice Girl is free to watch on Tubi, I think still, and then you can rent it on Amazon or iTunes. Our YouTube channel is called Last Resort Ideas. You can watch the Batgirl fan film with
New Wings.
Emma.
You can also watch my personal favorite, Franklin Thinks Line Dancing is Bad.
Oh, yes.
You have a cameo in that.
A phenomenal little soapbox done by Franklin Ritch
Thank
in
you.
summer of 2018 or something like that.
Actually, yes, please go watch that video. That was fantastic. Or the one about the ways to die, right?
27 deaths, yeah.
27 deaths, always having to do with Whataburger, right?
Quite a few. Too many of them had ended up at Whataburger. So check that out if you like content.
Yes, please do.
But more importantly, I want to make sure everybody knows two of my favorite people in the world, David Gerard and Tatum Matthews. They both have short films that are coming soon. They're amazing people, and they're really talented actors that I've had the privilege to work with, and now they're incredible filmmakers. So I don't know when those films are coming out, but when they do, check them out. David Gerard's film is called Normal, and Tatum Matthews' film is called Would You Rather. So check those out.
And Tatum directed hers, didn't she?
Yeah, Tatum wrote and directed hers.
Incredible.
David wrote and directed his. Truly phenomenal people.
So proud of them.
Super excited for them. And you can also see both of them in The Artifice Girl. And then there's a movie called Life of Chuck, which is now available on streaming.
Yes, Life of Chuck. Franklin's in Life of Chuck.
I have a little cameo, but it's directed by our friend Mike Flanagan, who's amazing and was super generous and let me kind of shadow him on set. And it was a really amazing experience, and it's a terrific film. So if you get the chance, go check that out.
Yes, go see Franklin in the Life of Chuck.
I have one line.
Well, it's still very exciting. You're
Still exciting.
Amazing. I'm so proud.
Yes, we were all so excited. You created this event for your friends and family, and we all went, and it was really cool to watch it with you in the theater, see yourself on screen.
So yeah, everyone invited. How dare you?
Definitely invited.
Oh, you don't think I was definitely invited. I don't think I could have been.
Yeah, no, you were out of town.
I was out of town.
Imagine that coming out now. So much to your shock.
I mean, slightest of tangents. Like, I friended Franklin on Facebook like a year ago or something, and it was at a film bar like 2 months ago where I mentioned he had never accepted my friend request.
I don't know how to do.
And he was like, "No, of course I did." And then he pulled out his phone and he realized, no, he had not.
I'm not good at Facebook. I'm not good at anything on the phone to be.
The fact that he texted me back today is in fact a miracle.
It is. It's very rare. I'm really bad at texting.
That's okay. So am I. No judgment here.
It's lighthearted ribbing. Franklin knows I love him.
Yes, and I bet if you follow Franklin, he'll be posting about these short films when they come out. So yeah, just follow Franklin on social media, on Instagram. And yeah, very excited. I can't wait to see those films. I love how you champion your Artifice Girl team.
Oh,
very cool.
Absolutely.
Is there a film recommendation, a line from a film, really anything you'd like to conclude our episode with today?
Yes. Emma, you go first, though.
Well, she's wide-eyed.
Oh, fuck. I feel like I've been put on the spot. I feel like Franklin's pulling something up. Honestly, the way that I kind of decompressed from watching this film was watching K-pop Demon Hunters on
Heck yes. Yes.
Okay, to explain what happened last night is I had like a 3-hour block, so I watched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I then went into an hour therapy session with my therapist.
Oh,
and then I needed to decompress, so I started playing Minecraft and watching K-pop Demon Hunters.
Nice.
And that is how I ended my night. So, I don't know, K-pop Demon Hunters has been a very, very nice kind of like chill movie for me and stuff like that. Same people who made Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, that's great. The animation's terrific.
It's incredible. So if you want just a good film with great music, literally the K-pop trio Huntrix, who is now everybody's trying to get them to be a virtual girl group, they've hit #1 on the Billboard 200 charts. It's crazy, their songs from the actual film itself. So yeah, go check them out if you want to have a good time and listen to some great music. That's all I've got is K-pop Demon Hunters.
So if you want to watch a similar film to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest that's actually lighthearted and fun, that also stars Christopher Lloyd playing an inmate, check out The Dream Team with Michael Keaton, Christopher Lloyd, Peter Boyle, and Stephen Furst. It's basically that one scene where the characters in Cuckoo's Nest go on the trip on the boat.
Yeah.
Basically, Michael Keaton is like their chaperone, and they go on this trip, and then they get lost, and it's this great kind of like fun comedy about that. It's not a deeply cynical look at institutions or anything like that. It's actually quite
a good time.
It's just a fun time about it. So if you want that same kind of vibe but just more lighthearted and fun, check out The Dream Team. It's a good film and very similar to Cuckoo's Nest in weird ways. So that, and then I don't know. I haven't seen any movies lately. Anything in theaters or anything.
I haven't either. We need to get back to choosing a movie and watching it in theaters. We have not done that in a very long time. Last time we did it, you introduced me to my boyfriend, so.
Oh, matchmaker,
really?
huh?
That was Parasite?
Well, I mean, the three of us went to go see Parasite, and then him and I went to go see Knives Out without you.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's right.
Love you.
It's all good. I like Parasite more anyway, so it's fine.
Did we see, tell me we saw Jojo Rabbit together.
I didn't see it in theaters, so no. Yeah, that's right. You went without me. That's all good. It's all good. Yeah. Yeah, we should do that, damn it. What a great idea. Oh, good. Okay. No, it's seriously.
The person that we're referencing is now my boyfriend, so yeah. Fun story about that. But that's actually how we bonded, so.
Genuinely, there hasn't been a lot in theaters that I've been like super excited to see. I'm excited about Frankenstein. I'm looking forward to that.
The Del Toro one?
Yeah. And that is coming to theaters for a limited time. So
ooh, that's good.
Looking forward to that. Otherwise, that's
we're gonna get the Oscar season soon, so maybe things will pop out.
We'll see.
Yeah, well, now that it's the back half of the year, the good movies are going to come out now. More of the good movies. There's some
this summer and all the blockbusters.
Yes, there's the first half. There's good ones scattered around.
Yeah.
And then when you hit like September, it's like, here we go. The good ones are coming out. I'll recommend The Passenger because it is another Nicholson film from 1975. It's more of an art film. It's by Michelangelo Antonioni. I love this film. It's very different from Jack's usual stuff, very different environment. So, yeah, everyone should go watch The Passenger. And again, thank you both for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for listening. And I think this is the beginning of a beautiful episode.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Special thanks to Emma Catharine, Franklin Ritch, and Caitlin Miranda. This episode was recorded on August 21st, 2025.